Warning, if you're easily offended, triggered, or considered a snowflake by your friends, you're listening to the wrong podcast. The views and opinions you're about to hear are raw, unfiltered, and without any regard for political correctness.
I'm offended.
Shut up. Longtime friends Scott, Will, Devie, and Jay dive deep into issues that other podcasts are too scared to talk about.
No topic is off limits.
All opinions are welcome.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Unlike some other popular panel shows, you know what we're talking about. These four friends have no agenda other than to tell it like it is. This is the Big Divide.
What's up? All right, welcome back. Season 1, episode 2 at the Big Divide. And we are back. I'm here. Who else is here? Can I do a little roll call here?
Jay's in the house.
Matzo Ball's in the house. Welcome in.
Will Montez is here.
The Puerto Ricans in the house. Welcome in.
And they call me the Globetrotter. Devie's in the house.
We call you the Chicken Hawk. Chicken Hawk. You're going to have your own apparel. Chicken Hawk fashion.
We can do merch. I can do that.
All right. You'll sell anything. You'll sell your soul to anything, right? It's going to fill my bank account.
Hey.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Big Divide. I had fun last week, so let's see if we can duplicate the fun. As long as we're having fun, we'll keep the episodes going. All right, let's dig right in. Last week we went around the horn and found out where everybody's from and how they grew up. So if you want to check that, if it's your first time seeing us, go check out last week's show. It was a lot of fun. We got good feedback. This week I want to dig right into topics. So I don't know. This week we had the debate. You guys want to talk about that? We all go with that. That's the debacle. Who said the debacle? Is that Jay?
That was Devie.
But that's good though. I like that.
Oh, see, so Devie said the debacle, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The debacle.
I'm gonna point something out about your opinion there, my friend. I think after the first night I watched it, I was like, I don't know if we accomplished much. But then I listened to it again and I read some transcript and you got the media all up in arms about some stuff. I think Trump is getting a lot of the minority vote than he did the last time in 2016. And Telemundo actually did a survey, and 60% of the folks that they surveyed said Trump won the debate, which if it translates into votes, I don't know if Biden can recover from that. So in my world, I've been listening to some stuff. So 60% said they thought he won from the Telemundo survey, and I heard that if he gets 5%, just 5 more percent of the black vote than he got last time, then it's all over, right? So he was at 8 before, 13% of the black vote. He's all over, and one of the things I heard that this week, or just since Tuesday, was that Latinos are, there's a lot of it's a very masculine culture. I mean, Will, you can speak to that, but very masculine culture, very faith based, right? Which does side. A lot of them are trying to get out of socialist countries and to come here, and their principles are masculine principles, entrepreneurial principles, and that would slide. That would make sense if the 60% of that survey. So I want to play something because I think that you're seeing a lot of the media go after Trump on this white supremacy thing, and they're saying he did not denounce it. And I actually read the transcripts, and I listened hard to that section where Wallace hit him up. Tristan, do me a favor. Play this clip. I think the media is going after the white supremacy thing hard because they see the numbers. I think they're shocked by I think they're probably shocked today about the Telemundo numbers. How are we going to recover from that? So they're really hammering that because they cannot let that vote go. So Tristan, play this. I think you guys are going to hear. You're going to hear Wallace say, hey, do you denounce it? He's going to say sure once, which didn't even make the transcripts that I read. And then he says it again. Sure, I'll do that. No problem. And everybody's like, he didn't denounce it. He denounced it twice right away before they even got into Proud Boy stuff. So Tristan, play that for us.
You have repeatedly criticized the vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing extremist groups. But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
are you
I'm
prepared
to
to
do
second time he says sure?
Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it.
Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
Who would
right
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud
militia.
Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing. This is a left-wing problem.
All right, that's good. So he said sure, and then he said sure I am, and then he says I want peace, but they're still hammering him. So is there anybody who wants to weigh in on this thing? Because I'm thinking, all right, bring it, Deves, bring it.
Okay. So you first said, when he said sure, the question was, are you willing? He said sure. He asked him again.
Is that a positive or a negative?
Well, but he was saying, are
Simple,
you willing? So
are you willing to? And he goes, sure. So if you ask me, hey, do you want some ice cream? I'm like, sure. Would you go, do you really want some ice cream?
Okay, right. I'm following. So he's saying, okay, yep, sure I am.
Twice.
However, okay. But then he had to ask, who am I denouncing? And then when they clearly kept saying white supremacy. So
they said the Proud Boys, right? He's like, what group? What group?
No, Scott, listen, what I'm saying. Yeah. They said, are you willing to denounce white supremacy and all of the violence?
And he said sure.
He said sure. And then he said, who do you want me to denounce?
Right.
So for him to not even recognize who's white supremacy, the white supremacists, that was an issue for me, because that's no question. But he clearly was able to answer and direct, and I'm kind of jumping ahead. He was clearly able to identify Antifa, but he can't clearly identify white supremacy.
All right, ready for this?
So he wasn't denouncing it. He said, and then he told the
wait. You did exactly what the media did, right? So the guy says sure. He goes, sure I am. I want peace. And they're like, nope, not good enough. Not good enough for me. Why? Why not?
Okay. He said, sure, I want peace.
No, he said, here's what Wallace said, hey, are you willing to denounce white supremacy? The white supremacists. And he goes, sure.
But did he?
Wait a minute. That's exactly what I'm asking you. So you ask me, hey, do you want ice cream? And I say, sure. Do you have a question whether I want ice cream or not?
No.
Okay, there you go. So if he says sure, is that a positive or a negative?
Okay, that's a positive. I give you that.
Okay, so we got two positives after the same question. Do you denounce white supremacy? Sure. He said it once.
No. Goes, that wasn't the question. Scott, that wasn't the question. They said, are you willing? They were asking, are you willing? That was the question. They didn't say, are you to denounce white supremacy?
Are you okay? So, hey, are you willing to eat the ice cream I get you? Sure. Are you worried that I won't eat the ice cream now?
Okay. So if I say, are you willing to eat this ice cream? And you say, sure. But I tell you, this ice cream is fell in the ground.
Well, now you've added something a context that didn't exist inside the question that Chris Wallace asked.
Okay, but
right?
but they said, "Are you willing to denounce?"
Do you see? Okay, now here's this. This proves my point. Like, it doesn't matter if we can say the guy has to say what before you're like, man, I guess he did denounce it. I guess because do you denounce whites? Are you willing to denounce white supremacy? Sure, okay. I am. I want peace.
So he wants peace. But
what's
then
wrong with that?
They said, okay, are you willing to denounce it? And they say, he asked him.
He said twice, sure already, twice. He had said twice.
If he had to just said, sure, I'm willing to denounce white supremacy, I'm against all white supremacy, that would have been clearly doing it. He had to pause and ask him, who do you want me to?
Yes, he was saying, hey, you name the organization that you wanted. And if they just said KKK, what do you think he'd said?
Okay.
What do you think he would say?
2 days prior, he listed KKK as a terrorist organization.
That was my next thing to say. So, he listed the KKK for the first time, the only president to ever do it. Terrorist group.
Let me put this out there. I hear where you're coming from, Devie, and I think you're giving us a tell on what your position is on the president. Here's my take on this. I think the president blew that big time. I think he majorly blew it. By the same token, you can't reasonably listen to that and say that he was supporting or equivocating on his denouncement of white supremacist groups. No reasonable human being can do that. No, you can't do it.
He absolutely blew it, and he tried to play the fence because that is his base. So he didn't want to offend his base.
Hang on a second. Are you saying that his base is white supremacist?
That's what he said.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So what he's saying is
his base is white supremacist because we all know that is a great deal of support for him. That is one of his base, and they even came out and said, "Hey, thank you." They applauded him for that. So
you can't hold the president responsible for the response of groups that you may or may not like,
because he did not denounce them. He did not denounce them.
Well, listen, I'm going to give you this much. I think his answer should have been something along the lines of, I absolutely unequivocally denounce any and all white supremacist groups, however they look, however they sound, and whoever they are. That's what he should have said. And he blew it because of that. But just because he didn't say that doesn't mean... Just because he didn't say that doesn't mean that he didn't denounce them, because he absolutely did. He said, sure.
So if he blew it, then he didn't denounce. If he blew it,
no. I'm talking about a political response. See, this is a political debate, and he did not give a good political answer. He should have left no room.
He didn't give a human answer. Forget a political answer. It wasn't even a humane answer.
Well.
Really? Devie, you want to be on next week's show?
Go ahead.
Hey, do you want to be on next week's show with us?
I will be on next week's show.
No, you say.
You wanted to say sure.
Exactly, sure. Hey, Devie, would you like me to help you with?
See, I gave you a direct answer. I just told you I will be on next week's show.
Listen to me. So you're suggesting that him saying sure twice isn't good enough?
Absolutely. He asked him.
This is the challenge for you. So, what is going to be good enough for you?
The challenge, because if someone says, "Do you hate racism?" I'm going to say, "Absolutely, I hate racism."
Can I interject here?
Go ahead, dude.
Okay. And just for a correction, Ro, it wasn't 60%. It was 66%.
Oh, there you go.
All right. With Hispanic
It's
voters.
over, dude. This thing's going to be
okay.
I'm taking bets.
Compared to 34. I took a picture of that. Okay. And with Devie, I got two things to say, right? And here's number one. Okay. If 66% of Latinos are supporting Donald Trump based on a liberal poll, Telemundo, okay, are they part of a white supremacy group also?
I didn't say that was all his base. I said part of the white supremacy is his base.
No, you weren't clear enough. You said his base is white supremacists. That's what you said.
You did say that. All right.
Okay, you did say that.
That's his base. That may not be all his base, but that's his base.
Okay, yeah. and here's my second point, right? Just to get in between as a referee between Scott and Devie when it comes to what he said and what he didn't say, right? Why doesn't Chris Wallace just be direct with him with a direct question by asking this: why do you support white supremacy? And if he would ask that question, he would get his answer. I don't support white.
Assumption?
That's a terrible question to ask, because now you're assuming, hey, what do you say about beating your wife? And they're like, what? I'm a wife beater? No, you say, hey, do you denounce white supremacy? If he'd have just stopped talking, Chris Wallace, right? It was technically, I think that, I put this on my on Facebook. I'm like, well, Trump and Wallace were debating, and Biden watched. Because that's exactly what I saw, dude.
Hey, Devie, I've got a question for you. If the communists out there in America support Joe Biden, does that make Joe Biden a communist?
Say that again.
If the communists in America, and they exist, if they support Joe Biden, does that make Joe Biden a communist?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. Well, if the white supremacists in America support Donald Trump, that doesn't make him a white supremacist.
And I didn't say that's what made Donald Trump a white supremacist. No,
you said it was his base, but I don't think that's his base.
I've never said that Donald Trump was
a racist. Here. Well, no. All right. You didn't say that.
Okay.
No? All right, cool.
I just said he just never denounced the white supremacy. He never denounced the KKK, but he
did it twice. He did it twice. He did not. He denounced them twice. He said, do you denounce white supremacists? Yeah, sure. Do you denounce white supremacists? No. Sure, I do. I want peace.
You denounce. The question was, Scott, are you willing?
Play it again. Hold on a minute. Stop right there. We don't have to debate that. Play it again, Tristan.
You have repeatedly criticized the vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing extremist groups. But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
are you
I'm
prepared to specifically
do it?
That's him saying he's willing to. That's him.
So he said, "Sure," and "Sure I am." Right. And then you heard, what did you hear Wallace say? He goes, are you willing to tell them to stand down? And then when they said Proud Boys, here's Trump. And I'm not saying that Trump's the most eloquent speaker in the world. In fact, I think I want to run for president because both those guys are terrible speaking. I think I'd be a better debater.
It's part of his problem.
It's a major part of his problem. Like the guy, for some reason, the speech center in his brain is not as developed as most people on the planet, right? That's not, I want to run around. I got an idea to run around this crew today and ask everybody why they're voting for a certain person. I think that we get clear. But he said, Wallace goes, are you willing to tell him to stand down? And then when Biden runs across, he's like, Proud Boys. He goes, yes, stand back, stand by. Like he's in his brain. That's what came out Trump speak. And he didn't say stand down like Chris Wallace would say. Yeah, stand back, stand by, whatever. Don't do anything. Yeah. So he was just saying, yeah, whatever, Chris, you want me to say, I'm going to say because I don't support these people. So it was a sure I am peace.
Scott, here's what I'll say about Trump. He definitely blew that. And I think Biden made a mistake by even mentioning a name instead of letting Trump figure out. That was Biden's mistake. That was horrible for him to even do that. However, that was two old white men want to yell at each other and call each other out, and that's what this was. So, but for Trump, his brain just doesn't get it, and for him, the way he say things or he doesn't say things is one reason why many people don't care for him.
But that doesn't make him a racist. He blew the opportunity to slam the door on the issue.
But Jay, have you ever heard me call him a racist?
No, I haven't.
Now, just because
I believe he's hold on. Well, let's ask. Here's a very direct question for you, Deves. As if I was a moderator, do you believe Trump's a racist?
I don't know him to be a racist.
That was muddy.
However, I say this though. Okay, so do you know me to be a racist, Scott?
Oh no.
Right. But does that mean that I support racist cause or I don't support racist cause?
What? I would.
Better question, Scott, for you.
Don't moderate.
Do you know me to be homosexual?
I don't know that. You could be closet. I don't know.
Okay. So
I don't know that. I'm not saying that it's good or bad. I don't know. I don't know you to be a homosexual, but I don't know if.
But that doesn't mean so we can say, hey, but does that mean I support or I don't support them? But if I say things that will go against them, then that means I don't support them. Or if I say things that are for them, that means I support them. And for Trump to say things that doesn't denounce white supremacists means he supports them. And that's what they were.
He denounced it twice. He's denounced it his entire career. Even when they came out, look, guys, I denounce everybody that's his white supremacist.
Okay, I saw a clip earlier.
KKK has been, he's which president in the history of America says, yep, KKK is a terrorist group? Which president?
There's only one.
I couldn't tell you. I don't even follow the politics.
All right, so no problem.
I'm going to watch
you can research
every president. You
can research that. You can
every president. No, it wasn't Woodrow Wilson. I can tell you that.
How about this question though? How about this question? Why, when Trump was asked about David Duke or when about the KKK and David Duke specifically, he never mentioned that he didn't know anything about the KKK, but he said he didn't know who David Duke was. Who does not know who David Duke is, especially if Trump is so smart of a guy?
Hey, you know what, TV? I'm with you on that. I had a problem with that answer. I really did. I was confused by it. But that notwithstanding, he hasn't done anything to show me that he's racist. He hasn't done anything to support that. But I was confused by that answer. I'm with you 100% on that. I thought that was bizarre. I thought it was bizarre. Now, it's possible he didn't know who David Duke was, but that should be alarming in and of itself. I'm with you.
Yeah.
That was weird.
And just because he may say I'm not a racist, and you not denouncing them or saying there's good people on both sides, or when we clearly saw someone coming there to do bad things, to say there's good side, that's you playing the fence and showing.
No. See, now I was with you, Devie, and now we're going to have a divorce.
He's talking. Hold on. He's talking. Let's get clear on this. He's talking about Charlottesville, right?
Exactly.
Okay. I want to weigh in on this.
My attempt is to bring it all together in terms of what he said and what he hasn't said, and these things, which brings us to the point where he hasn't denounced. And so, he did
denounce in Charlottesville.
He did.
Explicitly clear.
But let me just point something out. There was there were people that were protesting statues, and there were people that didn't want the statues to come down. You can believe. I mean, if you say that's an impossibility, you can believe that there are folks that believe in history and heritage that didn't want those. So are those good people? They may not be racist. Maybe they came out to support the statues coming down. Hey, there were good people on both sides. It doesn't mean that the person that ran somebody over was a good person. He wasn't talking about that. He wasn't talking about the tiki torch people. He's saying, listen, there were people supporting statues staying up they're educators, they're parents, that maybe they've lived there the whole life. They didn't want to see the statue come down. Doesn't mean that those people are racist. But he's like, look, there's good people on both sides. There is.
That was his reference to that comment.
Yeah.
He wasn't referring to the neo-Nazis that were there.
But the media sure made it sound like that. And they still
did. And they still do.
And even Biden's like, that's when I decide to run. Was that moment. All right. Well, that was, anybody else let's wind that one up. I just want to, get clear, because I think they're beating that drum right now, the media, in a big way. And I feel like it's because, right afterwards, Telemundo came out with their stats, and they're afraid that he's going to get a bigger percentage of the minority vote, really seriously, coming up in 4 weeks. So
we don't have to talk about this or go into this, but I'm curious as to where do these polls get generated, and who do they poll? Like, who do they question? We're saying 66% Latinos. Like, do they send out a polling ticket, or do they go to the neighborhood?
It's digital these days, bro. It's totally digital.
Well, they did it within minutes of the close of the debate, so it had to be electronic, and it had to be people watching the debate.
Yeah,
that's a fair question, and I'm sure that wasn't highly scientific. It was I think they call it a hot survey. It was literally on the fly. I was blown away by that number.
I was too, and I'll tell you, because Telemundo is very liberal, right?
Yeah.
Very liberal, and they came away with 66%. They had to admit it, and I look, it puts them in the driver's seat if that's the case. And listen, I'm going to say this, just a transition. I mean, I have a lot of friends that are like, nope, he's gonna lose. I'm a messenger all the time, going back and forth. And it's organically the enthusiasm that Trump has created. This is where I'm leaning. This is why I think he wins easy. I think he wins easy because he has sometimes doubled and tripled the incumbent primary vote. Right. So Barack Obama during his incumbency was getting half to a third of what Trump was getting as an incumbent. And nobody had to come out and vote for him in the primary. He was a lock. Right. So he is breaking records in states as far as an incumbent more than any other president as incumbent, getting more of the people coming out and voting when they don't even have to. And in my world, I'm like, who is not looking at that? Right. For me, that's the lock. It's going to be between the people showing up to his rallies. You see the boat parades, you see it all. I think it's going to people that are saying that, nope, he's way down. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it either.
I think we're in trouble either way. You
have to think that because Biden's in trouble. He's in trouble in this whole thing. The Democrats are in trouble. They have done nothing in 4 years but go after.
Well, that's not why I believe that. I just believe that we have two candidates who are just they're too extreme on one end and the other end, and I just feel like Biden is. I hate to say this, but I believe if Biden wins, he's not going to live long enough to enjoy his presidency. And I don't say that to wish that on any bad on him. It's just when I was watching him in there, he just looked like he was checked out, like he was asleep, like his mind wasn't strong. He just didn't even when Trump was talking about his boys, and we all know how Biden feels about his boys. And they panned on him. I didn't see no real emotion. Like you would have at least seen a face, emotional face on me. Like that.
I got a question for you. Biden. I'm gonna ask you a question. So, why are you voting for him?
Who said I was voting for him?
Well, I'm assuming you are.
Yeah, you're assuming.
Okay, so can I assume that you're voting for him right now?
We're gonna go with the assumption.
Okay, hold on. Let's just run around the four of us, right? Who did you vote for in 2016, and who are you voting for now? And then who are you voting for before the debate, and who are you voting for now? So you got Hillary or Trump in 2016. Who'd you vote for? And then who are you voting for before the debate, the first debate, and who are you voting for now? In my case, I voted for Trump because I could not see Hillary getting in, and I'll tell you why. To be honest with you, I crossed my fingers and cringed. I was like, oh, God, it's Trump. Oh, geez, it's going to be a mess. That's how I felt about, in 2016. The only reason, because I'm not that guy that goes, oh, I think everybody, I'm a conservative that way. I've always said, I'm not Republican or Democrat. I'm educated, and all these guys are working together through lobbyists, getting themselves rich, making handshake deals behind our backs, right? Because that's an elite thing to do in DC. I hate politicians, and I voted for Trump because Comey did come out and cite actual crimes that she had committed, and then he says, but no reasonable prosecutor means he did not throw it to the DOJ to make that prosecutorial decision. I'm like, whoa, something's going on here. So that just spoke to me as the DC elites are taking care of themselves, and I hated that. So I'm going to go with the guy who I don't even like. And Will even, we were traveling together in hotels, listening to the primary debates in the conservatives, and we hated Trump, didn't we, Will?
Yeah.
We hated him like, oh, that idiot. Well, that's what we were saying. I was a Ted Cruz guy all the way. But because of what he said I liked. But when it came down to voting for one of those two, I'm like, well, Hillary's just she's getting taken care of, man. It's that DC lead all over again. So I'm going to go with this guy. Cringe, I cross my fingers. That's why I voted for him. You know why I'm voting for him today? Before the debate, I'm voting for that guy. he has impressed me more with his foreign policy, especially with the trade, with how, we all think that there's money being thrown in stupid ways at the Paris Climate Accords. Like, we're the biggest donors. We help our allies out. We pay for more of allies' defense than they pay for themselves. He changed that. He did defund Iran, which is a terrorist state. Right. And I'm like, this guy is nailing it. And he's pulling troops out. Like, what is going on? This is why the elites hate him, because they had status quo and they know how to make money through war. And I'm like, this guy's doing everything they hate. This is why I'm putting him back in. So before the debate, I was voting for Trump. The debate did not sway me at all. Who else wants to go next?
Go ahead, Jay.
Well, okay. Well, I voted for Trump in 2016. I'll vote for him again. And no, the debate didn't change a thing for me. But the reason I could not vote for Hillary and the reason I cannot vote for Joe Biden, and I would consider voting for a Democrat, except the Democrat Party has been hijacked by a movement, and that scares the living daylights out of me. And that movement has to be stopped. Has to be stopped, because America will not be, it will cease to be America if the left takes control. And it's deep. I know it sounds conspiratorial, but that is the reason that I would vote Republican. And I happen to like what Trump has done. He blew me away. He surprised me in the first 30 days of his presidency. And I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't know what to expect. I think he's done an outstanding job by and large as president. Not 100%, but he's done an outstanding job. So he has my support.
I got a question for you, Jay. I want to expand upon that for a second, because you're Jewish, and obviously, how does your family feel about, moving the embassy? What was it like to see that embassy move for you? I don't even know if that's a big deal, because I was like, wow, he kept a promise that everybody else didn't keep.
It wasn't a big deal for me, and I don't remember anybody in my family even talking about it. And right. I think my family is probably mostly Democrat. I'm not even sure at this point. But what I liked about the move in Israel was he was showing strength in his negotiating prowess in foreign policy, and he exercised that with North Korea. He exercised it with China. And we see the fruits of that in the Middle East right now with the Abraham Accords. And that wasn't even mentioned in the debate.
Exactly. The peace deal, and that's another topic I was thinking about bringing up was, the guy got nominated, now his third nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize. So with that, and look, I'm not here to bash Obama. I actually, liked the guy when he ran the first time. I'm like, dude, I like this guy. I can feel him. He wants to have a website and connect with people. And then it all changed when he actually, what he did with Iran and what he did with Libya, what they call it, the drone ranger. So I heard somebody call him the drone ranger, right? What he did with the IRS, what he did with a lot of stuff. Anyway, with the press, right? Having them spied on. So, but with this guy, they're not. I don't think he's going to get the peace prize. But with what he did as a move, I think anybody else would have gotten it. Does that make sense? He would be like top of list if it wasn't Trump. So.
It's a major accomplishment.
Major. And so, nothing from your family on that at all. Hey, peace in the middle, peace between Arab and Israeli state.
Not a word.
Really?
Not a word.
It's interesting. All right, Will?
Yep. I voted for Hillary. I explained that last week in last week's episode. And I will be voting for Donald Trump in 2020. And here's the reason why. The subject that we talked about earlier about beating the drum.
So the debate didn't change your mind at all?
I was yelling at the television, right? Because I wanted him to shut up, Donald Trump, and let him talk. And the more that you allow Joe to talk, people will see the real Joe. So the guy was already starting to put his foot in his mouth, and Donald Trump would interrupt. And I would say, just shut up. Let him talk. Let him talk. I was pleading him. Let him talk. But that's Donald Trump, right? He goes after individuals defending himself because he's been defending himself for the last 4 years. And what he's been through as president of the United States, there's never been a president that had to deal with everything that he's dealt. And he's still standing. And what I love about him, he's not standing for himself. He's standing for us. All right, he's standing for the people, and just like you said, they beat that drum of racism, and going to the point, hey, would you denounce white supremacy? Why is it? It's always at the forefront, because there's chaos, and they know they're going to lose. They know the left that they're losing the minorities. They're losing black supports. They're losing Latino supporters also. Okay, so they got to create and beat that drum, but it's boring already. It's old. They do it every 4 years. It is old, and I'll tell you how old it is. Right, Kamala, vice president candidate for Democrats. In the primary, she was the first one to drop out before the primaries even started. And she was declaring that Joe Biden is racist, right? So if Joe Biden was running against Kamala, would that race card still be played? Of course. And Booker in Jersey, he has no success in his election bid for the presidency, for the reason being because they beating that drum, racism. And the people that are waking up are the minorities. They know that, nothing's being done for them, right? So Donald Trump said it in 2016, and it sounded vulgar. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Right? And that sound like that's kind of racism. When have we ever had a politician talk to us in that format? Well, when do we ever have a politician tell a white politician telling a black individual, you ain't black if you ain't voting for me? That's racism right there at its core. Right? But nobody talks about it.
Baby, get in line.
Right? So I see the games that the Democrats are playing, and they have no policies what to stand for. For the last 4 years, they had a great chance to come up with a candidate to put up against Donald Trump. They haven't done it because all they care about is taking down Trump at whatever means. And the nation has seen that.
They had the House. They didn't put any kind of legislation together either. It was just go after Trump. That was it.
Go after Trump. Well, it's going after Trump. I can say a lot more on that, the House, but Nancy Pelosi, she loves her ice cream. She loves her hair, right? So she goes to the beauty salon. What's good for thee is not good for me. That's the way they operate. And I think the American people are waking up and they're tired of it because I sure am,
All right, so you're a switch. You went, and you were a lifelong Democrat.
Lifelong Democrat. Lifelong Democrat. Yeah. I thought the Republicans were racist. That's what I believed, that they were racist, and they were. Right? Me growing up, they were. Am I still there?
Yeah,
based on my based on my experiences. But just notice, okay, why is George Bush voting for Biden? Just think about that. Just ask yourself that one question right there. It determines. I think it's part of the establishment.
I think the elites are like, dude, this guy. We had something going on. We were getting rich. We knew how to get rich. We controlled it all. I think that this is all shaking up now.
And I'll say this. And I'll say this last point, and I'll let somebody else get to the mic. At the Republican National Convention, his daughter, Ivanka, introduced her dad, okay? And she said one important slogan right before he came up, okay? Washington did not change Donald Trump. Donald Trump changed Washington. That sums it up for me.
Well, its hair is on fire, that's for sure, Washington. All right. So, Devie, coming to you now. I don't want to make any assumptions about you, what you voted on. I don't want to make any assumptions about you. So please help us with our assumptions.
Yeah. So your first question, who did I vote for in 2016? So I was forced to vote for Hillary because she was not my choice. for candidate, but we had that.
But why do you think you were forced to do that? Why were you forced to do that?
I mean, there was only two candidates to choose from.
So who was your candidate?
See, we're not assuming anything, but you were forced. Who forced you?
Okay, what options did I have? Tell me my two options.
You had Hillary or Trump?
Jill Stein.
Jill Stein, there you go.
What about Jill Stein? So let me finish. So I ended up voting for Hillary because she was the choice, because a couple of things with Trump. One, I thought he was doing this as a game. I didn't think he took this whole thing seriously. I thought this was all self-serving for him. This was a ploy to increase his brand and all those things. What I did like about Trump is that Trump has been consistent. He's been a bully through this whole thing, and that he bullied his way through the Republican Party. I do believe he shook up the Republican Party, and that's a good thing. However, I just thought this was a ploy for him. I didn't think he was serious about it. And so Hillary, I just said, well, okay, let's give her a shot. Let's give a woman a shot. And that was the only option. I didn't think she was the best to be president, but who else did we have? If we would had a third candidate, I would have went with the third candidate.
You did, Jill Stein. Why didn't you go with Jill Stein?
I didn't see nobody else on the ballot but Hillary and Trump. So you telling me something new? Are you revealing something that I missed?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Jill Stein, Gary Johnson, Evan McMullen, Darrell Castle, Gloria La Riva, Rocky De La Fuente. They were all on the ballot.
The proof.
There's the proof. No voter fraud. All right. Okay, so the debates. So before the debate, you're voting for who, and after the debate, you're voting for who?
So before the debate, I've still been undecided. I've just been undecided.
Really? I got a chance to help you vote for Trump? I will fly out to D.C. and I'll take your hand.
You said before debate. Before the debate, I'm like, I don't like either one of them. I'm like Will. I don't like what the Democrats are doing and what they have been doing. I believe they are holding the black vote. They have misrepresented themselves to the black community, and I can only speak for the black community, right? And I'm not even speaking for the black community.
Hey, you can speak as an American.
I'm all for America. I'm for the candidate that is going to best serve every American, not just because of your status, what kind of background you come from, your color. I don't want to be supportive of someone just because I like them on this one issue, but I don't like them on this other issue. I want to look at the whole picture. I want to look at the whole candidate and what do they represent. And to me, Donald Trump just doesn't represent that. And also, I feel Biden is self-serving too as well. However, if I'm going to go with the two lesser evils, I'm swinging towards Biden. And here's why I'm only swinging towards Biden, because my original choice for these candidates was Kamala Harris. I'm on record I'm on Facebook for that, is that because I just feel like it's really time for the ladies to take over. I just feel like let's let the women run it now. We let them run our households. Why can't we let them run our country? And to me, she just was a stronger candidate for that job. So that's probably more reason why I'm leaning towards voting for that ticket, and it's only because of her.
Well, she's the stronger half of the ticket, and if you vote for Biden, you'll probably get a good dose of Harris.
A real good chance at a weekend. He's like, okay, I did my job. Can I go to the beach now?
Maybe.
Yeah. Was that enough Trojan horse, everybody? Can I now retire? He'd be like, my son's got $3.5 million waiting for me. I hope Danietta listens to this. I know you said I shouldn't mention her name, Jay, but
I just want to protect the innocent. That's all. So we're okay.
Yes, exactly. There you go. Danietta, baby.
We love you, Danietta.
Oh, I love her. She's like my little sister. I look forward to seeing her every week in the office till she kicks me out of her office.
You guys have a love-hate relationship. Y'all love to hate
No, there's no hate. There's no hate.
And
it's fun.
That is a strong word, but it's in fun. I don't believe y'all hate each other. It's one of those, like you say, a brother-sister relationship. Y'all fight amongst each other. However, if someone was to come against you, Scott, she's there for you, and vice versa.
Yeah, totally. She's got my favorite line. She's always, for years, she's always said, she goes, "Hey man, I got this client I want you to talk to because you have the complexion for the connection."
The complexion for the connection.
If that doesn't tell you something about her.
That's right.
Oh man.
All I know is I expect to be collecting some money from the named party later this. I guess later this year.
Oh, you guys got a bet?
Well, the bet was that the president would not serve out his term. So.
Oh yeah, me too. I got that bet too. You know what? I did lose. I lost $100 to her on Mitt and Obama.
I did too. 2012, and I paid up right away. I paid up. That money's coming back.
Hey, socialism beat me this week. You guys want to hear about that, or you want to talk about something else?
How did socialism beat you?
The mob destroyed my shed.
Oh, that's good. I like that one.
It's good, right? It's good. I have HOA that, I moved in, these guys, my neighbors had sheds, right? A couple of my neighbors right next to me had sheds. I'm like, you know what? I got this slab. I want to put a shed up. And then I got a notice in an email. Hey, you are not allowed to have a shed per the HOA contract you signed. Please take your shed down. I'm like, no, my neighbors have them. I mean, I've been here for years and their sheds have been up. So, I went to court, lost in court. And I got to a point where they're like, well, the next time you got to go to court, you got to go to jail.
So the shed goes.
So the shed is in a dumpster right now, about to be picked up tomorrow. That was my whole day today, emptying that thing out. So, anybody else want to bring something up for the last part? I don't want to be the topic hog.
Maybe we can save for next week, but I definitely wanted to address the Breonna Taylor decision.
Okay, I'm into that.
I think we have time. We can talk
some strong feelings. And we got 12 minutes.
Okay.
Do you think it'll take longer than that? You think you'll be sad? You think it's going to take you longer to be satisfied there, Deves?
I'll be good with that. I just want, the question for me is, what are you all's thoughts on that decision to not indict any of the officers?
They're officers. It's a no-knock warrant, which they did knock. So they actually said, "Hey, police," and bullets are now coming through the door at them. Bullets are coming through the door at them. What did you want them to do?
Are you asking me the question?
Sure. So bullets are now flying through the door at you, and you're a cop.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
And that's what happened. They knock, and then bullets are coming through.
Flying through the door at you. Bullets are flying through from the inside the apartment. Mm-hmm. Bullets are flying at you. What do you do?
Yeah, you fire back.
You got hit. The first person to get hit in that exchange was a cop. So what? Now what? So what, you indict people that actually got shot at?
But my question, you're talking about the incident. My question to you is what do you think of them not indicting the decision?
Okay, and I just answered that. I'm asking you a question, like, do you indict people that got shot first?
Yeah, fair. I'm not here to say it's right or wrong. I'm asking though,
do you indict people that got shot first? You got to answer the question. Don't dodge it.
Hey, Scott, are you saying, do you indict the people that shot first? I think that's what you meant, right?
No. I'm saying, he says, why didn't they get, so what, how do you feel about them not getting indicted? I think based on the law, you can't indict that. That would never get a prosecution, ever. I mean, all you have to do is show reasonable doubt in these kind of cases, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you say to the jury, now you have to go and deliberate in there, and you got to come back with a thing. You cannot have any reasonable doubt that getting fired upon first is not a good reason to fire back.
Well, and that's why there wasn't an indictment.
Exactly. Because the prosecutor's like, how am I going to get a prosecution on this? I mean, they don't just throw them out there to make the public happy. That's not the job of prosecutors. I mean, they're not political. You can't politicize. Although I think in St. Louis, the AG who prosecuted or indicted the people that actually had guns when people were actually breaking down a gate and going into their community, a private community, they're like, whoa. Now, did I think the girl should have had like gun? No, it was very dangerous. But they indicted them instead of the people that were actually breaking down the gate and moving in. So I think it's a little screwed up. I think we got to. I think rationale. I think rational minds have got to prevail, right? So how do I feel about? Here's how I feel about this. To be honest with you, I'm like, you have to rewind the clock from the time she got killed. So she got killed. Why did she get killed? Oh, there was a no-knock warrant. She got killed because bullets were flying into the apartment. Why were bullets flying into the apartment? Oh, because bullets were flying out of the apartment. Right? So they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know if she was shooting. It was her place. I mean, something's happened in her apartment into the hallway. Why were they at the door? They were at the door because they have her on record at the prison talking to her ex-boyfriend about moving the money that's going through his drug business. And she's involved. Stuff getting mailed to her place. Right? So if you have to pin responsibility somewhere, you have to start with the reason they were at the door knocking. You cannot go, well, everything starts with she was sleeping, she got shot, somebody should go to jail. That's not the case. There's more complex than this. And complex starts with they were tracking her. They were listening to her conversations with the ex-boyfriend, saying she was managing his business, his drug business, right? Drug trafficking business. And so, but you know what? Indict the guys. Because we want some kind of justice.
So the report was put out that it was a botched raid on her apartment, right? So
yeah, but who put that report out? Who put that report out? Who said botched?
Right now, I'm the New York Times.
Great. You say the New York Times. You know what I hear? Wah 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 wah. Jump in. The New York Times.
I'm just looking at. I'm just saying right now. I'm just looking at the report.
You said botched raid. I don't say it's a botched raid. It's not a botched raid. They were being shot.
I'm not the one that said botched raid. I'm reading it what it says. It says the death of Breonna Taylor, a black medical worker who was shot and killed by a Louisville police officer in March during a botched raid on her apartment led to.
Why was it a botched raid? What made it botched?
From my understanding, that they were at the wrong apartment. They were at the wrong address.
Oh no, they weren't at the wrong apartment. They were tracking her. You heard that that they got her on tape, talking to her ex-boyfriend in prison, moving his money around. You know that?
No, I don't know that.
So there you go. No. You're reading the New York Times. No, you're not reading the actual reports, the police reports.
No, my point was this: is that you were when I asked you what did you think of it, I just wanted to get your feedback, and you asked, "Hey,
how do you feel about my feedback?"
Your feedback is your feedback. I don't have.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. So, Devie, I'm going to ask you a question.
Ask me
if it's true, and we can, I'll send you what I've got as far as the police, actually the chronology of it all. If it's true that they were at her door because her ex-boyfriend was getting mail there, proven through video surveillance that he's going in, coming out with packages, and her on tape saying, yes, I moved all that money for you. I took care of them. Yep, I took it. She's managing the business while he's in jail. If that's all true, how do you feel about it?
It's a crime.
Which part?
If that's what she's doing, or the activity, they're breaking the law.
Who is? She was, right?
Yeah. If you're saying, yeah.
All right. So there you go. So next week on the show, we're gonna be doing the enlightening of Devie. I'm gonna.
Well, what are you enlightening me on?
I'll send you all the reports, all the police reports of and the surveillance.
So Scott, you're making another assumption. I just simply asked, what was you guys' feedback? I didn't say, hey, it was right or wrong, or I was for it or against it.
So, Devie, let me ask a question, okay? You're the one who bring up the topic. I'm curious to find out where you stand on it based on what you read with the New York Times and what you know. Yeah. What's your feedback?
Yeah. So based off of what I just read, so we're not. I didn't look at the police report, right? And if I'm just basing off of the media that I get,
so you're reading a story, right? Not the facts.
I'm reading what is supposed to be a credible media outlet, correct?
Listen, they've got you believing it was the wrong apartment. Is that credible?
Okay, so I'm let's play devil's advocate here.
Sure, go ahead.
I don't live in Louisville. I don't get the news there. I wasn't there at the scene, nor police officer. But the New York Times, if they put out a story, this can go back to what Will had said last week. The media used to be the neutral party. So if I'm looking at the New York Times, a credible source or a distinguished outlet, right? If they put in here a botched raid on her apartment, then me as someone that is now getting information on this, I'm like, okay, well, why was it botched? Then the police made a mistake. They were it says the other two officers who fired shots and no one was charged for causing her Taylor's. So there no one is talking about, hey, there was the police were fired upon first in these reports. So we as readers
exactly
believe that, hey, the police go in, they're at their own apartment, they're knocking on somebody, banging on somebody's door, and they're busting in. And I know now that puts me in the mind, if someone coming through my door, I don't hear police. If it's at the middle of the night, all I hear is noise, and I'm reaching for my firearm.
Well, that was actually the boyfriend's claim, and my understanding is that's why he was not indicted. And for the record, the police were not just fired upon; one of them was hit.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
If I may, I want to point out an amazing piece of irony in all this. Now, I don't know the facts. All I know is what I read in the media here, which is highly suspect. The grand jury heard evidence from the DA, so I kind of have to defer to what they heard. But here's the irony. They came down with the decision to indict, not to indict, and there were some indictments, but not on that particular raid. And then I'm going to call it the mob outside. The protesters are claiming that they want justice. Well, their justice is that they want indictments. What kind of justice is that they want that because they believe something to be true that probably is not? That to me is unbelievably ironic.
And I agree with you, Jay. However, when you're part of a system that has not been for you, it's little things like this. It what makes it so dirty in terms of when justice has actually been served the way it should be. We can't see it because we're saying, hey, this has happened far too often, and stuff has been crooked, and lies have been told, and people have been protected because of this and this and that. So the public, these mobs, as you call them, or people just saying, you know what, they're just angry and tired of seeing this kind of stuff. Right, wrong, or indifference, that's just how people are feeling about it. And so
I think that's a great point that you bring up. That is so valid. It's the perception of what's going on.
Correct.
And the problem we have is really knowing the truth these days, because we have a dishonest media out there.
Yes, it's dishonest.
So we have a dishonest media. We have a dishonest judicial system. So it's like, who do you trust and who do you believe? And so if you don't know, as a citizen of this country, you got to say, this is all shady. This is everything about it. It's the way I feel about the politics. Is you don't know who to believe. When Will talked about how the Democrats are doing this and how they've been doing it for years, and I used to think the Republicans were racist. Because it's certain tendencies that they do makes me feel they're more racist than they're not.
Let me just add, I'm going to go back to the question because we got to finish this thing up, bro.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to my question. All right, so the cops got shot first.
Okay.
Outside of so they're a no-knock warrant on an apartment where the girl who did get killed was seen as a manager of the ex-boyfriend's business, and I'll back this up with some stuff that I'll send you. But if that's the case, if everything I said just is true, right? You know that the guy inside shot the cops first. How do you indict somebody that's being shot?
Yeah, I agree with you. You don't indict.
Yeah, you can. So you and I feel the same. Shouldn't indict. So there's a grand jury. The grand jury is like, we can't indict this because because there's no case here, and we lose.
And here lies in the problem. The public is, they don't get that information. All they're getting is, hey, again, they don't know who to trust and they don't know what to believe. So when you say they're not indicted, okay, here, give the explanation. Because right now, the public opinion.
Yeah, but they're not. You're reading the New York Times, and they're not. I'm telling you right now.
The one that I brought up.
The great thing about what's happening right here, Deves, is that that the New York Times is being exposed to you, right? They're being exposed as going, wait a minute, they didn't tell me that about Breonna. That's not. I think if you read down, you might see it in that article because it's buried deep down in the paragraphs. But if it's not in there, then they're not telling you the whole story, the whole truth.
Well, yeah, like you have a quote here says, I know we did the legal, moral, and ethical thing that night, Sergeant Jonathan Matley, who's on administrative leave, wrote in the email, right? So they're reporting on what these cops do. Because again, we were not there. And I don't know about you guys, but I've been in a situation where I had, I'm armed and we're in a situation and we see it as we see it. And things that go down, we can only explain and react in that moment. So I'm not here to fault police officers, right? I have a sense of what that is like when you're in those situations. And those guys feel wholeheartedly that they did everything that they were supposed to do. If gunfire is coming my way from an unknown source, I don't know who's in there, what's going on, and I'm here to serve a warrant. Yes, you're gonna get gunfire back. I don't have a problem with that. If that is really what is the case, right?
That's the case.
Yeah. So, yeah.
According to the cams, that's the case.
But we're saying this.
But you thought when you asked that question, you thought that they were at the wrong door. Even right now, you thought that.
Right, because that's what that has been reported before. It's been said, and I can't tell you who said it. I know I've heard that before. They the search warrant was not approved or some things, and they were not at the right door or whatever. Right? You get different reports. All I know is you had a young woman that was killed, and we were only told that, hey, she was killed by police because they bust into her apartment and start shooting.
Yeah, that didn't occur. That's not how it happened. That's not how it happened, and that's why nobody should be indicted. Nobody.
And millions of people are being misinformed.
Yeah,
and that's what's going on in America right now.
Yeah. All right, we got to finish this thing, guys. I apologize. It's a good conversation. Maybe it should be a 7-hour show. I don't know. But I want to thank everybody for listening today. Remember, you can go to BigDivideShow.com. BigDivideShow.com. Anybody else?
BigDivideShow.com.
Because they might not listen to the white guy say it, but if the minorities on the show say it, they'll say, all right, well, Devie said it. So
BigDivideShow.com. There it is.
There you go, baby. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe. Hit all the likes you can. Send it to all your friends because Willie's so cool. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for helping me out, guys. Treston, you're the best. We'll see you guys next week.
This has been The Big Divide. Don't forget to subscribe for your weekly dose of unfiltered and unapologetic conversation.
Done and done.
And of course, share this episode with all of your friends. Well, maybe not the sensitive ones.
You apologize right now.
Do you have a question, topic, or opinion that you want to hear discussed? Go to BigDivideShow.com and tell us all about it.
Or simply look up Big Divide on Instagram or Facebook and send us a message.